I shifted in my chair, tugging at the stiff fabric of my graduation gown. The gym buzzed with cheers, camera flashes, and parents waving at their kids. My eyes swept over the crowd again, row by row, desperately searching for her face. "She'll come," I whispered under my breath, trying to convince myself. "Dude." The guy next to me leaned closer. "You see your family?" I forced a nod. "Yeah, somewhere back there." It was a lie, but I didn't want pity. Names were called, one after another, claps echoing like thunder. My heart pounded harder with each step closer to mine. "Row 4, get ready," the teacher whispered, guiding us to the stairs. I swallowed. My stomach twisted. "She's just late," I muttered. "She'll walk in any second." But when my name boomed from the microphone, the crowd erupted with polite applause. No cheers, no whistle, no familiar voice shouting my name. I stepped onto the stage alone, the spotlights blinding, the silence inside me louder than the clapping outside. The principal handed me the diploma. "Congratulations," he said with a smile. "Thanks," I mumbled, gripping the paper as if it meant more than it did. When I walked down the stairs, kids grinned at their families, waving, parents crying with pride. My seat remained empty. After the ceremony, balloons filled the air, families hugging, pictures flashing. I dialed her number, holding the phone so tightly my knuckles went white. She picked up, her voice cheerful. "Hey, honey!" "Mom," I said, my throat tight. "Where were you?" I kept looking. "Oh, God," she gasped. "Graduation." I completely lost track of time. Rick wanted to grill outside. "The kids were so excited about Memorial Day, I thought you'd understand." I stood frozen, hearing laughter in the background, his laughter. Their laughter, not mine. "You forgot," I whispered. No, not forgot," she said quickly. "Just got caught up." "I'm so sorry, sweetheart. We'll celebrate tonight, okay?" "I walked the stage alone," I said. My voice cracked. "Don't make this dramatic," she sighed. "You're strong. You don't need me there for everything." "I only needed you there for this," I shot back. Rick's voice cut in from behind her. "Is that him? Tell him to stop whining. Life doesn't revolve around a piece of paper." The line went quiet. My ears burned. "I'll call you later," Mom said, her tone softer but distant, like she was already walking away. The phone clicked dead. I stared at the screen, the words "call ended" flashing like a cruel joke. "Yo!" A friend clapped me on the back, pulling me into a selfie. "Smile, man. We did it!" I forced a grin, teeth showing, but my chest felt hollow. "Where's your family?" he asked. "They're around," I said quickly, stepping back. Another friend laughed. "Bet they're screaming your name somewhere." "Dude, mine nearly embarrassed me." "Yeah," I said, shoving my phone into my pocket. "Something like that." I walked to the edge of the crowd, slipping past parents with bouquets and gifts. My sneakers scuffed against the pavement as I reached the parking lot. The sun was bright, but everything felt dim. Daniel, my best friend, jogged up behind me. "Hey man, hold up. Didn't see your mom around." "Where is she?" "She forgot." He stopped short. "You're joking." I shook my head. "She was busy with Rick, barbecue, Memorial Day." His jaw tightened. "That's messed up. It's your graduation." "Doesn't matter," I muttered. "It's done. It matters to me," he said. "If my mom skipped mine, I'd lose it." I stared at the ground. "I think I already did," he sighed. "Look, come by my place. We're doing a cookout. You'll have fun." "I don't want to intrude." "You're not intruding," he insisted. "You're my brother. My family's your family." I almost agreed, but something inside me felt too raw. "Thanks, but I need to be alone." His eyes softened. "Don't let them break you, man." I nodded, but the words slid off me like rain. That night, I sat at my desk, the diploma on one side, the silence of the house on the other. Mom didn't come home until late. I heard their laughter downstairs, plates clinking, television blasting. No knock on my door, no plate of food brought up. I stared at the empty chair across from me. The one where she should have been. "She forgot," I whispered again. I pulled the drawer open and took out the candy bowl from Halloween. It was still half full, untouched, stale pieces rattling inside. I remembered sitting by the door, costume hidden under my jacket, asking if I could go trick-or-treating with them. Rick had laughed. "You're too old for that. Stay home." The kids came back with bags full of candy while I sat alone, the bowl untouched. Now, The same candy sat in front of me like a cruel reminder. I was always the one left behind. I clenched my fists, staring at the diploma. The paper meant nothing, not compared to the silence that followed it. "I'll never let this happen again," I whispered into the dark. "Never again." My chest rose and fell, a quiet fire burning deep inside me. If no one would clap for me, if no one would cheer, then I'd build a life so loud the world would hear me without them. I leaned back, the candy bowl still on my desk, mocking me. But this time I didn't feel weak. The shame turned into something else. Resolve. "They won't forget me again," I whispered. "Not ever." The house was silent, but inside I felt the first spark of something new. Something dangerous, something unbreakable. The next morning, the smell of bacon filled the kitchen. I walked in, rubbing the sleep from my eyes. Rick sat at the head of the table, coffee in hand, his voice sharp. "Finally awake," he sneered. "About time. Most kids would be helping their parents the day after graduation, not sleeping till noon." I pulled out a chair quietly. "It's 9 o'clock. "Lazy is lazy, no matter what time it is," he shot back. Mom stirred the eggs at the stove, her shoulders tense. She didn't look at me. Emma giggled. "Kyle, pass the syrup." Kyle made a face, holding it just out of reach. "Say please." Their laughter bubbled around me like I didn't exist. I reached for toast. Rick's eyes pinned me down. "Ungrateful," he muttered. "We put a roof over your head and you can't even say thank you." "I didn't know existing required a thank you," I murmured. "What was that?" His voice sharpened. "Nothing," I said quickly, shoving the bread into my mouth. Mom set the pan down. "Enough, both of you. Can't we just have one meal in peace?" Rick grunted, but his glare lingered on me. I kept my eyes on my plate, silent. At school, the halls buzzed with stories. "Dude, my family rented a whole hall for the after party," a guy bragged. "Best night ever!" "My mom cried when I walked the stage," another girl said. "She hugged me so tight I thought she'd never let go." I adjusted the strap of my backpack, slipping past them. Every word was another cut. "Daniel found me by the lockers. There you are. Thought you disappeared." "Just late," I said. He narrowed his eyes. "You okay?" "Yeah, you don't look it," I tried to smile. "I'm fine, bull," he snapped. "You're quiet." "Too quiet." "Spill it." I shoved my books into the locker. "Nothing to say." He stepped in front of me. "Try again." My throat tightened. "She didn't come. Your mom?" His voice dropped. I nodded. "She forgot?" "She said Memorial Day barbecue was more important," I whispered. Daniel's hands curled into fists. "That's messed up." "You're her son." "Her son," I shrugged. Rick was probably happy. "Easier to pretend I'm not there. Man." Daniel shook his head. "I don't get it. If my mom missed mine, I'd lose it." "I wanted to," I admitted, my voice barely audible. "But what's the point? I feel invisible in my own home." Daniel's eyes burned. "Then stop letting them step all over you." "You've got to stand up for yourself," I laughed bitterly. "And say what?" "He hates me and she pretends not to notice." "That's the script." "Break the script," Daniel said. "You're not weak." I looked at him, wishing I could believe it. That evening, I slipped back into the house. Emma and Kyle were sprawled on the living room floor, video game controllers in hand. "Hey," Emma grinned. "Want to play?" I hesitated. "No, it's fine," Kyle smirked. "Scared you'll lose?" Emma nudged him. "Stop, he's busy." Their laughter filled the room. I stood in the doorway, a shadow in their world. Rick called from the kitchen. "You planning on helping with dinner or just hiding all night?" I clenched my jaw. "I have homework." "You graduated?" he barked. "Homework's over." Mom's voice floated out softly. "Rick, leave him." "Always defending him," Rick muttered. "Kid does nothing and you let him. Lazy and ungrateful." I gripped the stair railing, pulse thundering in my ears. I wanted to scream, to say something, but the words stuck in my throat like they always did. Instead, I climbed the stairs. Emma's voice followed me. "Good night," I paused. "Good night." In my room, the silence wrapped around me like a heavy blanket. I lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling. Daniel's words echoed in my head. "Stop letting them step all over you." But my chest ached, and my throat refused to open. For now, I stayed silent. The house was quiet that night, the kind of quiet that pressed against the walls. I went downstairs for water, but voices stopped me at the edge of the hall. Rick's low growl cut through. I never wanted him here. He's dead weight. My body froze. Mom's silence followed, heavy and suffocating. He went on, sharper. He drains us. Eats our food, takes up space, and gives nothing back. I didn't marry you to raise another man's mistake. The glass slipped in my hand, clinking against the counter. My chest tightened, every word sinking like knives. Mom's voice finally came, soft. Rick, what? Tell me I'm wrong. Her silence answered for her. I staggered back, heart pounding, and rushed upstairs. In my room, I slammed the lock shut. My fists trembled as I leaned against the door. The graduation sash hung from my chair, untouched, bright fabric mocking me. I whispered to myself, dead weight. Mistake. My eyes drifted to the candy bowl on my desk. Last Halloween, Emma and Kyle had gone door to door, buckets overflowing, while I sat waiting for someone to invite me. Nobody did. Mom had set the bowl there, in case trick-or-treaters come. Nobody knocked. The bowl still sat there, half full, unwanted, like me. I sat on the edge of my bed, teeth clenched. Morning came. I barely slept. At breakfast, Rick smirked when I entered. Morning, champ, he mocked. Sleep well? I sat down, refusing to meet his eyes. Emma grinned. Kyle, want the last pancake? Kyle laughed. Only if he doesn't want it. He nodded at me. I'm not hungry, I muttered. Rick chuckled. See? Always taking, never giving. Just like I said. Mom shifted uncomfortably. Rick, he cut her off. Tell me I'm wrong. Her silence burned more than his words. I shoved my chair back. I'm going to school, Emma blinked. But it's Saturday. I didn't answer. Outside, the air was sharp, crisp. I called Daniel. He picked up quick. Yo, what's up? Can we meet? My voice cracked. Yeah. Park? Yeah. We sat on the swings, the chains creaking with every shift. You look like hell, Daniel said. Thanks, I muttered. Talk. I clenched my fists. I heard him. Last night, Rick. He told her he never wanted me. Called me dead weight. A mistake, Daniel's jaw tightened. And your mom? She said nothing. Nothing. Not one word. Just silence. He cursed under his breath. Man, that's worse. I nodded slowly. It is. So what now? I don't know. Yes, you do, he pressed. You're angry. I can see it. I stared at the ground. I feel like I'm disappearing. Like I could walk out and they wouldn't notice. That's their loss, he said. Not yours, my voice dropped. Then why does it feel like mine? Daniel leaned forward. Because you care. But maybe it's time you stopped. I let the words sit there. Stopped caring, could I? Back home, I avoided everyone. I locked myself in my room, pulled the sash into my hands, the fabric sliding between my fingers. I walked that stage alone. I whispered. And she forgot. The candy bowl caught my eye again. I picked it up, shaking it. The pieces rattled, hollow and sharp. I'm like this, I murmured. Sweet on the outside, untouched on the inside. Left out, the rage simmered. My reflection in the mirror looked different. Eyes darker, jaw tight. If they don't see me, I'll make them notice. The words slipped out, quiet but certain. Dinner came, voices echoing downstairs. I stayed put until Mom knocked gently on my door. Honey, food's ready. I'm not hungry. Her pause lingered. Please come down. I opened the door. She looked tired, eyes red. Did you hear last night? She whispered, my stomach twisted. Every word, her lips trembled. I didn't know what to say. You could have said something. My voice cracked. Anything. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't erase it. Her eyes watered. I just wanted peace. Peace? I laughed bitterly. You call that peace? Standing by while he destroys me? Tears slid down her cheeks. I'm trying, I shook my head. You're not. You chose silence, and silence cuts deeper than anything he said. She reached out, but I stepped back. Her hand dropped. She whispered, I don't want to lose you. You already did. I closed the door. I sat back on my bed, chest heaving. My hands gripped the sash, twisting it tight. The candy bowl gleamed in the corner, mocking me. The rage inside me wasn't wild anymore. It was calm, steady, a fire that wouldn't burn out. They could laugh. They could mock. They could ignore. But I wouldn't stay invisible. If no one saw me now, I'd make sure they did. I stopped waiting for their smiles. I stopped searching for a seat at their table. Instead, I buried myself in books. School became my excuse. Homework, projects, anything that kept me out of the living room. At night, I picked up shifts stacking shelves at the corner store. The hours were long, but the silence there was kinder than home. Daniel noticed first. "You're pushing yourself too hard," he said, tossing a basketball against the wall outside the store. I shook my head. "I'm fine, liar." He caught the ball. "You're not fine. You're running." "I have to," I muttered. He leaned closer. "Then run the right way. Don't just escape, build yourself. Build so strong they choke on their regret." The words hit me harder than I expected. I nodded. "Yeah, promise me," he pressed. "Promise you won't waste this pain." I promise. Nights blurred into weeks. Money slid into an old shoebox under my bed, bills stacked like quiet armor. I never told anyone. Rick noticed the changes. "Why so quiet?" he sneered one evening as I passed him in the hall. I shrugged. "Nothing to say." "Smart mouth," he snapped. "Think you're better than me?" I looked him straight in the eye, then walked past without a word. "Hey, I'm talking to you!" His voice rose, echoing down the hall. But I didn't flinch. His anger followed me like smoke, but the flames no longer burned. His insults slid off me, leaving only faint scratches where they once left wounds. At dinner, the noise of their laughter felt distant, like another world. Emma's giggle carried across the table. Kyle waved a chicken bone at her, pretending it was a sword. Rick laughed loud, chest proud. Mom smiled, thin and tired. I ate in silence. Rick's eyes flicked at me. "Why so quiet again? Cat got your tongue?" I lifted my glass. "Just tired," he smirked. "From doing what?" "Pretending to matter?" The words didn't land like before. I chewed, swallowed, and let the silence answer for me. The more I ignored him, the harsher he pushed. But my silence starved him. His power cracked when I stopped feeding it. One night, after everyone drifted to their rooms, a soft knock came at my door. "Yeah?" The door creaked open. Emma peeked in, holding her stuffed rabbit by one ear. "Why don't you sit with us anymore?" she asked. Her voice was small, innocent. I froze. Her eyes were wide, waiting. I forced a smile. "I'm just busy, Emma." "But you're always busy," she said, stepping closer. "You used to laugh at Kyle's dumb jokes. Now you don't even look up." Her words pierced deeper than Rick's ever could. "I'm still here," I said softly. She frowned. "It doesn't feel like it." I swallowed hard. "Sometimes. People need space," she hugged her rabbit tighter. "Did we do something wrong?" The question broke me. My throat burned, but I kept my smile. "No, Emma, you didn't." "Then why—" "Go to bed," I whispered gently. She nodded slowly, stepping back toward the door. Good night, Emma." When the door closed, I buried my face in my hands. I wanted to tell her the truth, that their family was never mine, but the words stayed locked inside. Later that week, Daniel found me at the library, buried in textbooks. "You're hiding again," he said, sliding into the chair across from me. "I'm studying. Studying like the world depends on it." "Maybe it does." He leaned forward. "This isn't just school, is it?" "This is survival," I didn't answer. "You're becoming colder," he said carefully. "I don't know if that's good or bad." "It's necessary." His eyes searched mine. "Just don't lose yourself." I gave a small, humorless smile. "Maybe I already have. At home, Rick tried harder to draw blood. You think you're tough now, huh?" He snarled one evening when I ignored him. "Walking around like you're above this house." I stayed quiet, spooning rice into my mouth. "Say something," he demanded. I looked at him, calm. "No?" The silence spread. His face flushed. Mom opened her mouth, then shut it. Emma and Kyle stared between us. Rick slammed his fork down. Ungrateful brat. I kept eating. The power shifted then. I felt it. He wanted me broken. My silence denied him. Back in my room, I counted the bills in my shoebox. Slowly, surely, the pile grew. Every dollar was a step away from him, from this house, from the emptiness. I whispered to myself, "They'll regret it." One day, the candy bowl still sat on my desk, untouched. I stared at it, Once it had made me feel invisible. Now it reminded me, sweetness means nothing if it's never tasted. Emma's words echoed. Did we do something wrong? No, I whispered into the empty room. It wasn't you. But even as I said it, I knew she'd never understand. I wasn't building for them. I was building for me. The house grew heavier after Rick lost his job. His voice carried sharper edges, his footsteps heavier, his shadow longer. Every mistake, no matter how small, became a reason to lash out. He slammed the fridge one afternoon. Who finished the milk? Kyle pointed at the empty carton. Not me, Emma shook her head. I don't even like milk. Rick's eyes narrowed at me. Figures. Always you. I stayed silent. Say something, he barked. I grabbed my backpack. I'm going to work. Of course, run away. That's all you do. His words followed me out the door, but they didn't sting the way they used to. At dinner that week, tension simmered like the stew on the table. Emma giggled at something Kyle whispered, but the laughter cracked under Rick's glare. Quiet, he snapped. Emma's smile faded. Kyle dropped his fork. I chewed slowly, saying nothing. Rick's eyes cut to me. And you, why are you eating like that? You breathe so damn loud it's disgusting. I froze mid-bite. Mom's voice was small. Rick, please, stay out of it! He roared. The table went silent. Something inside me snapped. The fear that had ruled me for years crumbled in a single heartbeat. I set my fork down, looked straight at him, and said, You don't scare me anymore. The air cracked. Mom gasped, hand flying to her mouth. Emma's fork clattered against her plate. Kyle stared wide-eyed. Rick's face turned crimson. What did you say? You heard me. My voice was steady, sharper than I'd ever felt. You don't scare me, his chair screeched as he shoved back. You little... I didn't flinch. I didn't move. I just stared. He froze. For the first time, my silence wasn't weakness. It was power. Mom whispered, Please. Stop, I didn't break my gaze. Why? I'm not afraid. Not anymore. Rick slammed a fist on the table. The plates rattled, the stew sloshed over the edge, but his roar felt hollow, weaker than before. You think you're a man now? Talking back in my house? I leaned forward slightly. Your house? You couldn't even keep your job. You don't control me. His breath hitched. Emma's small voice trembled. Stop fighting. I softened, turning to her. It's okay, Emma. Rick's fist shook at his side. You're nothing. Ungrateful. Worthless. I smirked, calm. Funny. You keep saying that, but I'm the only one at this table who doesn't need you. The words silenced him. His mouth opened, then closed. His face burned red, veins bulging, but the power drained from him with every second he failed to break me. Mom whispered again, voice cracking. Please, both of you. I pushed back my chair slowly. Dinner's over. Rick's eyes followed me, rage boiling, but he didn't move. For the first time, he didn't chase me. In my room, my chest rose and fell like a storm had passed. My hands shook, not from fear, but from release. Daniel picked up when I called. What's up? I said it. My voice trembled. I told him he doesn't scare me. Silence on the line, then a low whistle. No way. I did, at dinner. Everyone froze. How'd he react? He tried to blow up, but he didn't win. Daniel laughed softly, almost in awe. That's it, man. That's the shift. You felt it, right? Yeah, I whispered. For the first time. I wasn't the weak one. That's because you're not, he said firmly. You never were. You just believed you were. I lay back on the bed, staring at the ceiling. He can't chain me anymore. Damn right, Daniel said. Keep pushing. He's already cracking. Later that night, I heard Mom's footsteps outside my door. A quiet knock. Can I come in? She asked. I opened it. She stepped inside, eyes still red. Why did you say that to him? She asked. Because it's true. She lowered her head. You made things worse. No, I said firmly. I broke something that needed breaking. Her lips trembled. He'll never forgive you. I almost laughed. I don't need his forgiveness. She looked at me for a long time, searching my face, maybe realizing I wasn't the same boy she thought she could shield with silence. Finally, she whispered, You're changing. I have to, I said. Her eyes watered again. I just wanted peace. I shook my head. Peace doesn't come from silence, Mom. It comes from standing up. Her tears slipped down her cheeks, and for once she didn't argue. As the night stretched on, I sat at my desk. The candy bowl still waited untouched. I picked up a piece, unwrapped it, and set it on my tongue. Sweet. I whispered into the darkness, "You don't scare me anymore." And this time, the words tasted like victory. The rumors started fast. By Monday, whispers floated down the hall like smoke. "Did you hear about Mr. Carson?" one kid murmured. "Fired. Something shady with paperwork." Not surprised. Always acted better than everyone. I kept my head down, but the words burned into me. Daniel slammed his locker shut. "So it's true then?" "He didn't just lose his job." "He lied," I shrugged. "I don't know the details." "You don't need details," he said. "Everyone already knows. This is your shot." "My shot for what?" "To finally expose him. To show he's the fraud you've been living with." I leaned against the locker. "That's not who I am, Daniel. I don't want to spread poison." Daniel's eyes narrowed. "You don't get it." "He's been poisoning you for years." "This is justice," I rubbed my temple. "Justice or revenge? Sometimes they're the same," he muttered. That night, I found Mom folding laundry on the couch. Her hands trembled as she smoothed out a shirt. "Can I ask you something?" I said quietly. She looked up, startled. "Of course. Why do you always choose him over me?" The words dropped like a hammer. Her eyes filled instantly. "That's not fair. It's the truth," I cut in. "Every time he tears me down, you look away. Every time I need you, you're silent. Why?" She pressed the fabric to her chest, her voice cracking. "I just wanted a stable family after your dad died." I froze. I thought if I kept the peace, if I stayed quiet, you'd at least have a home, some normalcy. "I didn't want to lose everything," I whispered. "So you sacrificed me instead." Tears slipped down her cheeks. "I thought I was protecting you." "No, Mom," I said bitterly. "You were protecting yourself," she sobbed, burying her face in the shirt. For the first time, I saw her weakness not as hatred but as fear. Later that week, the house felt different. Rick was restless, his anger spilling onto anyone within reach. At dinner, Emma spilled her juice. "Idiot," Rick barked. "Can't you hold a cup properly?" Emma flinched, her lip trembling. Kyle muttered, "It was an accident." Rick whipped around. "What did you say?" Kyle froze, fork clutched tight. "Don't you dare talk back," Rick growled. Emma's small voice shook. "It wasn't that bad." Rick slammed his fist on the table. "Both of you shut up." I pushed my plate away. "They're kids, Rick." His glare shot at me. "Stay out of this." "No," I said firmly. "You don't get to tear them apart just because you're broken." His face reddened. "Watch your mouth," I leaned forward. "Or what? You'll scream louder? Hit the table harder? That's all you have left, isn't it?" Emma's wide eyes flicked between us. Kyle's fork slipped from his fingers. Rick sputtered, words failing him. The mask he always wore, the confident father, the provider, was gone. What stood in front of us was just a man unraveling. After dinner, I heard Emma whisper through my door. "Can I come in?" I opened it. She stood holding her stuffed rabbit. "Why does he hate us now?" she asked. I knelt to her level. "He doesn't hate you, Emma. He just doesn't know how to love right," she frowned. "But dads are supposed to love." I swallowed hard. "Yeah, they are." She hugged her rabbit tighter. "He looked scary tonight," I sighed, brushing her hair back. "You don't have to be scared." "Not while I'm here." Her small arms wrapped around me. "You're more like family than he is." The words broke me in ways I didn't show. Later, Kyle cornered me in the hallway. His voice was low, cautious. "Is it true?" "What?" I asked. "That he lost his job because he lied?" I hesitated. "Where'd you hear that?" "Kids at school." "They said he cheated at work," I sighed. "People talk." Kyle's eyes narrowed. "So it is true." I didn't answer. He shook his head. "I thought he was strong, but he's just mean." For the first time, I saw doubt in Kyle's eyes. The blind loyalty was cracking. Later that night, Rick stormed into the living room. Mom sat stiff on the couch, wringing her hands. "Everyone's talking about me," he growled. "Neighbors, coworkers, even brats at school." "You hear it too, don't you?" Mom whispered. "Maybe if you—" "Don't you dare," he snapped. "Don't you dare blame me." I stepped into the doorway. "They're not blaming you. They're seeing you for who you are." His head snapped toward me. Shut your mouth. Emma peeked from behind the stairs, clutching her rabbit. Kyle stood frozen in the hallway. Go on, I challenged. Show them. Show them the real you. Rick's eyes darted to the kids, then to Mom, then back to me. His chest heaved. But he said nothing. For the first time, Emma and Kyle weren't looking at him with admiration. They were looking at him with doubt. The mask was cracking, and he knew it. The guests were laughing, plates clinking, the smell of roasted chicken hanging in the air. I sat at the edge of the table, silent, just like always. Rick raised his glass. To family. Everyone echoed politely, glasses lifted. Then he smirked. Well, almost family. Some of us are mistakes. The room went still. My chest tightened, heat rushing to my face. Mom whispered, Rick. But he chuckled. What? Everyone knows. The boy barely belongs here. A burden since day one. The silence pressed down until I couldn't breathe. My hands clenched under the table. Finally, I stood.
You think you're a father?
My voice shook, but it carried. Every head turned. You're a fraud, I said louder. Fired from your job. Lying to your kids. Treating Mom like trash, gasps rippled. Emma froze, her fork slipping. Kyle's mouth fell open. Rick slammed his glass down. Sit down. No, I snapped. I'm done sitting down. He shot to his feet. Watch your mouth. I glared back. Why? Because it scares you when the truth gets spoken out loud? The guests shifted uncomfortably. One of them coughed. Another whispered, Is that true? Rick's face flushed crimson. Don't listen to him. He's jealous, bitter. I cut him off. You've spent years tearing me apart because you're terrified everyone will see what you really are. And now they do. Mom's chair scraped back. Her eyes brimmed with something I hadn't seen before. Disgust. Rick, she whispered. Stop. He barked. Don't you take his side. But her voice rose. He's right. You humiliate him. You humiliate all of us. The table froze again. Emma whispered, Dad? Kyle's eyes darted between us. You lied? Rick stammered, Kids, it's not. I cut him off, steady now. He lied about his job. Lied to you. Lied to Mom. And he lied every time he called this house a family. Emma's face crumpled. You said we were perfect. Kyle's fists balled. You yelled at us for nothing, Rick's voice cracked. I did everything for this family. I shot back, No, you did everything for your pride. And now it's gone, he roared. Shut up. But the louder he shouted, the smaller he became. Guests pushed their chairs back uneasily. One muttered, We should go. Rick's hand trembled as he pointed at me. You ruined this! No, I said calmly. You ruined it yourself. The silence after my words was deafening. Later, after the guests had hurried out, the house felt hollow. Rick paced the living room, muttering, Ungrateful. Disrespectful. Thinks he's better than me. Mom sat on the couch, arms folded. For once, she didn't look scared. She looked sick of him. I stood by the doorway, silent. Finally, Rick spun toward me. Why would you humiliate me like that? In front of everyone? Because you humiliated me my whole life, I said evenly. His mouth opened, but no words came. Mom whispered, You called him a mistake. Rick waved her off. It was a joke. No, she cut in sharply. It was cruel. He blinked at her, stunned. Emma stepped forward from the stairs, clutching her rabbit. Her voice trembled. Why would you say that about him? Rick tried to soften his tone. Sweetheart, I didn't mean. Kyle joined her. Stop lying. We know what you are now. Rick's jaw worked, but nothing came out. For once, I didn't feel small. I didn't feel invisible. I looked him dead in the eye. You can't bury me anymore. I'm not your shadow. I'm not your mistake. I'm the truth you've been running from. He shook his head, desperate. You don't understand. I gave everything. No, I interrupted. You took everything. And now you've lost it all. Mom's voice was steady. He's right, Rick. You've lost this family. His face twisted, caught between rage and despair. He raised his hand as if to strike the air, but then let it drop. Defeated. The fight drained out of him. For the first time, he looked smaller than me. That night, in the quiet of my room, I sat staring at the ceiling. My hands still shook, but not from fear. From release, Daniel texted, Heard what happened. You finally did it. I typed back. Yeah, I said it all. My reflection in the window looked different, harder, sharper, alive. I whispered into the dark. He can't bury me anymore. The words tasted like freedom, and for the first time in years, I believed them. The house was quiet now. Too quiet. No more stomping boots. No more slammed doors. No more Rick. Mom finally filed the papers. Divorce. Just one word, but it carried the weight of everything that had happened. She stood at the kitchen counter one evening, flipping through documents. Her voice was soft. It's over. He's not coming back, I nodded. Took long enough, her eyes glistened. I should have done this years ago. You should have, I said bluntly. Then softer. But at least you did now. She reached for me, hesitated, then let her hand drop. I don't know how to fix what I broke. I looked at her. Maybe you don't. Maybe I have to fix it myself. Months blurred together. I buried myself in school, in work, in saving every dollar I could. The silence of the house wasn't peace. It was an echo chamber of everything left unsaid. One night, Daniel called. So no Rick around to ruin things? Not anymore, I said. He whistled. Man, that's freedom. You should be celebrating. Celebrating what? That my mom's marriage fell apart? That my so-called family never wanted me? Daniel's voice steadied. No, celebrate the fact you survived it. You walked through fire and didn't burn. I let the silence stretch. Then I muttered, I still remember graduation. Walking that stage with no one in the bleachers for me. Daniel's tone softened. And now? I stared at the candy bowl still sitting on my desk. Empty, dusty, but never thrown away. Now, I'm not waiting for anyone to show up. Halloween night came cold and sharp, the sky full of orange glow. I sat in my room, the candy bowl in front of me like a ghost from the past. A knock rattled my door. Trick or treat, Emma's voice. Hi, playful. I opened the door. She and Kyle stood there, dressed as a witch and a pirate, plastic pumpkins in hand. Their cheeks were flushed from running through the night. Emma grinned. We got extra candy. Want some? Kyle held out a chocolate bar. You always sat alone before. Come with us this time. I stared at them, startled. You want me to come? Emma nodded eagerly. Of course. Your family. The word hit me harder than any insult Rick had ever thrown. I shook my head slowly. I waited by the door once, remember? Nobody came. I'm not waiting anymore, Emma tilted her head. So come now. No waiting. Just walking. I looked at Kyle. He shrugged with a crooked smile. She's right. I laughed softly, something breaking open in my chest. You two don't know how much that means. Emma held out her hand. Then stop thinking. Just come. As we walked through the neighborhood, their laughter filled the air. Porch lights glowed, kids darted between houses, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel like a ghost walking beside the living. Emma skipped ahead, swinging her pumpkin. You know, you're way better at this than Dad ever was, Kyle muttered. He wasn't even a dad. I glanced at him. His jaw was tight, his voice heavy. You don't have to carry that anger, I said gently. Kyle kicked at a leaf. Maybe not. But I can't forget. Neither can I admitted. But forgetting isn't the same as moving on. He looked at me for a long moment, then nodded. Emma spun back toward us. Stop being so serious. It's Halloween. We laughed, the sound strange but real, like testing new muscles. Later that night, back at the house, Emma dumped candy on the table. Take some, I held up my hands. I'm good. Kyle shoved a piece into my palm anyway. Not optional, Emma giggled. See? You're included whether you like it or not. I stared at the candy in my hand, the same kind I used to stare at alone in my room waiting for someone to knock. I whispered, I used to think this bowl meant I was unwanted. Like I was the candy nobody picked. Emma frowned. That's dumb, Kyle smirked. Yeah, candy's candy. Everyone wants it, I chuckled, shaking my head. You two don't get it. That bowl was rejection. But tonight, it feels different, Emma tilted her head. Different how? Stronger, I said softly. Not because you gave me candy, because I don't need to wait anymore. I built myself without it. Kyle leaned back. So, you won? I looked at them, their innocent faces, their laughter echoing in the quiet house. Yeah, I won. Later, alone in my room again, I set one piece of candy into the bowl. Not as a reminder of pain, but as proof of survival. I whispered into the dark. I waited once. But I don't wait anymore. And for the first time, the silence felt like mine.